Hey, sixth grade, it's Miss Pousson. I'd much rather be with you guys and seeing your smiles and getting my hugs rather than sharing this video. But hopefully soon we'll all be back together. I hope that you guys had a very happy Easter and that you and your families are all staying well. That's the main thing at this point. Today, what we want to talk about is the second part of section 2, Roman legacy and culture. Mainly, I'm going to touch on Roman entertainment and Roman law. Okay, and this was pages 398 through 401, I believe it is. So we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to talk about is Roman entertainment. And what we see oftentimes in the movies is gladiators in the ring. And that was the case. That was their main form of entertainment. It was men who fought, sometimes to the death, for the entertainment of others. Oftentimes, those men had nothing better to do because they were prisoners, criminals, or slaves. So they were more or less sacrificed for the entertainment of their fellow man. And oftentimes, whoever was winning would look up to the emperor for a nod, either let him go or finish the other person off. So yeah, it was pretty violent. The most violent of it all was when men were put in the ring with animals, and we're talking wild animals, lions or tigers that had not been fed, and they were aggravated, they were riled up, and they were released into the ring with these men. So you can imagine about how well that turned out for those men. There was a less violent form of entertainment for the Romans, and that was the chariot races. And those chariot races took place in round buildings. Often called, it was the Circus Maximus, and in Latin, circus means round, and it's spelled like the word we know, circus. Between the races, they would often parade animals around for the entertainment of the crowd, kind of give them a little break between races. And so I guess that was the origins of the very beginnings of our circus as we know it. Oftentimes in the rings, the round rings, and with the animals on display. So that was kind of a cool bit of information there as well. Okay, the second part that we want to talk about today is Roman law. And oftentimes, at the very beginning of times, Roman law was not written down. It was more or less based on the judges and how they felt and what they knew about from customs and their traditions, but there was nothing in writing to give them guidance. So they kind of went by, well, what happened before? What do we know took place before? And kind of how do I feel today? So eventually, the Romans around the 400s BC decided maybe we should write this stuff down. And they wrote it down in what's called the 12 tables. And those 12 tables became kind of the basis of all Roman law. And it touched on topics. It could be family matters, it could be inheritance matters, property disputes, any other topic or subject that came up was addressed. And so this kind of 12 tables kind of became the foundation for what we would know as like civil law. And it was adopted by cultures that followed the Roman culture. So a lot of the Romance countries, as we call them, or France, Italy, Spain, adopted this legal system, okay, for their civil law. And something that makes our state unique, of course, Louisiana has to be different, is that our state law is based on the Napoleonic Code, the Code of France, from Napoleon, its leader, its emperor, okay? And that law, or those laws, are usually formed by people doing some research, writing the rules up, sending it into their legislators, to create laws, okay? Whereas all other 49 states follow laws based on precedent. What's happened before? What has the law before us done? Okay. Today, however, there is very little difference in the forms of law or in the laws that are created and things that are decided. But that's just something unique to Louisiana. The fact that we still follow France's way of doing things called the Napoleonic Code. So I thought that was pretty interesting to hear and see. If you have any further questions, there is a video, by the way, attached on Plus Portals. You can find the link to watch about the Coliseum and what took place there in particular. If you have any further questions, please email me anytime. I'm just an email away, and I miss seeing you guys. And so we will touch base with you next week. Take care.